What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're driving to the gym, and today I wanted to talk about Adderall. And I took a little bit earlier today. It's long since worn off, but I wanted to discuss just kind of my thoughts on it and how I use it and what I think it's good for. I don't know. I just felt like that would be fun to talk about. So, I got a prescription for it maybe 4 years ago, and I never ended up taking it every day. But, from time to time, when I would have something that I needed to do, whether it be a paper or if I just needed to do a ton of cleaning, then I would take some Adderall. And it was really impactful in the sense that in the moment I could just focus on whatever it was that I needed to do. And that was really cool. And for me, at least, there hasn't really been a downside. I never got addicted to it. I never started taking it every day, which was probably a big part of not getting addicted to it. And I take a very low dose for my body weight, at least. I weigh about 160 pounds, and I take typically 7.5 milligrams. I'll cut a 15 milligram pill in half. And, that I find lasts for about 2 hours from the time that I take it, maybe 2.5 hours of noticeable effects. And then it kind of, has waned away at that point. And so if I take it early enough, then, if I'm still doing whatever I'm doing, then I'll take the other half of the pill, 2.5 hours afterwards, and kind of make it my own extended release, right? I never liked the idea of extended release just because it seemed weird to take something and then, you'd get the effect and then an undetermined amount of time later, the other half of it would activate. It just never appealed to me. I liked having the option to just, have the effects for, 2 to 2.5 hours. And to not be bound to, if I'm taking something, I'm on it all day. So that's how I've used it. I've used it just to, when there is some kind of specific task or list of tasks typically that I need to get done. And, if I don't feel like having a cup of coffee, or, if I'm not drinking coffee for whatever reason, right now I'm kind of on a coffee break. I used to have coffee most mornings. I was doing that for a few months, just having it most mornings. And now what I'm doing is just having coffee on weekends, just as an enjoyable thing. And then most days I don't have anything. So I've not really noticed any negative effects. But I've heard that people do, maybe get overzealous with it and start upping their dose. And I mean, if anything, I've downed my dose, right? I started cutting the pills in half just because I was like, this isn't necessary to take this whole pill. So that's how I use Adderall. And I mean, honestly, I feel like it's the kind of thing that perhaps should just be, should there really be the need for a prescription for it? I don't know. It's when taken in those low doses, not that severe of an experience, and I feel like it's kind of similar to coffee. It's better. I would say. I think it's better. Like, it's more effective at what it's trying to do. It's kind of like just a better coffee, but it's not like it's so crazy. Granted, I've never done a really high dose, so I don't know what that would be like. And, that could get out of hand if people start doing that. I know, when you hand stuff over to the free market, sometimes things do get out of hand. Like, people make huge energy drinks, and I'm sure they do that if Adderall wasn't a prescription drug. So maybe there's some reason behind it, but to me, it just seems like it's fairly mild. It's not like it's a crazy thing. Like, it's very, the first couple of times it's more intense, as is everything, as is your first time, having a drink, or your first cup of coffee is more intense than your 100th cup of coffee. So I just feel like there are so many substances that could be legal to buy over the counter that aren't. And I don't know who it's really helping to keep these things under the lock and key of prescription medications, because I feel like a lot of people end up getting these things anyways. Um, I mean, it's so hard to properly diagnose if someone needs it. I mean, I got a legitimate prescription for myself, and is it absolutely necessary? I mean, do I have whatever I'm required to have to have that prescription? I don't know. Maybe. The doctors seem to think so, but would they have thought so if I didn't go in there and say that that's what I needed? I don't know. So it's kind of just, it's a weird thing that they have this barrier to entry for some people, but I don't know if it's really that helpful. I feel like, I mean, if you have some regulations on it and say you can't make a product that's over this dose just so that people don't overdose on it, then maybe that would be enough. I don't know. All in all, I feel like it's not a super harmful to my well-being. There are always going to be stories of, some people who just can't handle anything and they get addicted to whatever it is they try, and they'll have stories about, oh yeah, I was addicted to Adderall, I was addicted to smoking weed, I was addicted to caffeine even. And, they'll have these horror stories about withdrawals and headaches when they stop drinking coffee. And it's kind of, I mean, it's a real thing. Like, it's not good that that's happened to them, but it's kind of ridiculous for the government to then step in and say that because those people have had this experience, that they're going to put these substances under lock and key, and that either you need a doctor's permission to use them or they're completely illegal. So I just think it's kind of ridiculous. When I take an Adderall, it's only been beneficial. I've never had a bad experience, and that's because I use it pretty responsibly, not too frequently, just when there are tasks that need to get done and that I just feel I'd be better able to I'd be able to do them more efficiently. I'd be able to enjoy myself more while doing them, which is a big part of actually doing tasks. If you're not enjoying yourself, I've found that I'm a lot less likely to finish the task. And so if I just, have a cup of coffee and start working on something, I'm so much more likely to just continue with that thing and not get distracted and just kind of joke around and not do what I'm actually meant to be doing, what I'd like to be doing. Just because, it can be kind of boring sometimes to do nitty-gritty tasks. But at the end of the day, those tasks are often pretty necessary. And so I don't know if there's much harm in having this, in having substances like caffeine or Adderall that, kind of energize you and keep you focused on what you need to be working on. So for instance, today, what I did was I took care of some banking stuff. I mean, that was quick. That was in the morning. It didn't take too long to take care of that nonsense. Just some payment processing, compliance stuff after that. And all in all, that stuff did not take long. And after that, I started writing, just continuing a short story, like a kid's book kind of thing that I've been writing for a while. That I just started writing again. I wrote it at first, years ago, and I just picked it back up today, and I was like, let me hammer out a couple more pages. And so I got some good stuff down, and that's what I did with it. So I don't know. For me, it seems to be mostly beneficial. I'd say, yeah, there are some people who, if you've been addicted to anything in the past, I would say you probably don't want to try it. You want to steer clear of anything that you could get addicted to. If you think you have an addictive personality, then steer clear of it. I know there are people that are like that, and it's unfortunate for them because then they end up missing out on trying these things and using them effectively in moderation, and when they do use stuff, it ends up becoming a negative in their life. So that's unfortunate, but I think that overall it would be beneficial if we just kept this stuff legal and let people make their own mistakes as long as it's not affecting anyone else, and let people learn from that. So that's what I was thinking today, and I just parked, so that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.